This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Player 4 Podcast, RTX Pre-Roll. Hello, I'm Tristan, a.k.a. Shagrazier, on the Rooster Teeth website.
What the heck was that?
He tried to bamboozle me, and I didn't let him.
I was actually going to do like more of a drop the bass kind of baboozla, but that didn't happen.
Introduce yourself.
I am Alex, aka Chaos Black 21.
I'm Malachi, aka Sukikiwa.
It's gonna be the ghost. J Dunlap, J Dunlap.
J Dunlap, raise the roof.
No, it's the kind of beat that goes. I'm Joseph, aka J Dunlap on the Rooster Teeth site.
And this is the RTX Pre-Roll Podcast, episode 113? Question mark, hashtag hope I'm right.
No, you're correct.
Sweet. And so today we are going to spend just a few minutes talking about RTX, the things we're going to be doing there, the things we're interested in doing there, the fact that you can find us there, and where that is. I think that's everything.
Ooh.
So, we wanted to take a moment to let everybody know that the RTX app is now live, that the schedule is live. Now, all of these things are still subject to a bit of change, rescheduling, so keep your eye on these things, because come the time of the event, some of the panels may not be in the same place or at the same time as they were listed today.
As we're as when this comes out, some things might have already been changed. So
I only included as much information as you gave me, Alex.
So sort of what we're going to be doing here is a short episode preceding RTX. This should be releasing around Wednesday preceding RTX. We're going to be talking about where you can find us. We're going to be talking about the underrated panels that we intend to or want to at the very least attend. Because there's Ruby, there's RVB, there's Achievement Hunter, there's all of that stuff that everyone's going to try to get into. And we wanted to showcase for those who have not been to RTX before or those who have but may have missed things in the schedule, things you might consider going to if you don't get into the bigger panels. Also, just some things that we intend to be doing at the convention and after hours that you should definitely consider hitting up, including a meetup we're talking about at the end of the episode. Take it away, Tristan.
So, because I put you first on the chopping block, Alex, why don't you tell us about, we each picked a panel that we said we were going to be really interested in seeing, and as Guardians, we will have a chance to see one panel of our choice, so this may be our choice, but it might not be. So, Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about the panel that you selected and why you thought it was going to be interesting?
So I doubt this is going to be this is still going to probably be packed, but the production design of Rooster Teeth that's on Saturday, July 8th at 10 o'clock in the ACC is basically a Q&A with the people that are kind of behind the scenes of Rooster Teeth that put the broadcast together, and they do all the set design and props and special effects. They're all doing a panel that discusses that and lets people ask questions and kind of learn about the inner workings, what goes behind the scenes that you don't get to see on normal videos. So I thought that was pretty interesting. They usually have that every year, but I haven't gotten to see it yet.
It does sound interesting. Does it give you an idea of how you might go about producing a show? Or
I believe they'll probably start off kind of discussing what goes into a show, what you kind of need, and then open up to Q&A.
Okay, that sounds fascinating. I'd go see that. But instead, I'm probably would choose to go see Project Improviser. That is my choice. I've gone to this, actually, I can speak on it a bit, a few times since starting out as an attendee at RTX. Project Improviser is an incredibly interactive panel. It's held by primarily Shannon McCormick, who you know as the voice of Agent Washington in Red vs. Blue, as well as a host of his colleagues who have worked either on Red vs. Blue projects, like Lietti. Sometimes Jen Taylor makes an appearance, but also it's very frequently also hosted by other people he works with on DCU Online, the DC Comics universe online. And the reason I like to attend this one is that they set up all these activities where you learn to do improv, and the idea is that they just start making you participate and shout and take on voice lines and make up activities to say that you don't really learn to improv, you just get comfortable with it, because improv is, as its name suggests, spontaneous. And so they send you through 5 or 6 different exercises, and it gets the whole room up out of its seats, shouting, making noise, and well, role-playing in through these little improv exercises. And they, you get to interact closely with these people. They're all great, good-natured people. They go up, they stand up on stage, give an example of how it's going to run, and then they say, all right, we're going to break into groups. This group's going to work with this person, this group's going to work with this person, we're going to do the thing, and then at the end we're all going to come together with the final product, and it's going to be awesome. And it always is awesome. I remember I attended my first year and lost my voice.
It's always a good time when you lose your voice.
It is. Luckily I was just an attendee, so I didn't need to talk to anybody. How about Joseph?
Yosef.
How did you just say my name?
Joseph, obviously.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's interesting, side note, because my students call me Jay Dunny.
Jay Dunny.
It was a nickname started by my first year of students because they already knew me, and several of them had been calling me Joseph for at least a year or two. So they wanted to give me a nickname that wasn't Mr. Dunlap, but was also somewhat respectful, I suppose. So they went with Jay Dunny, and it sort of carried over to the following generations. My nicknames in college were Yosef in the music department, Joseph in the theater department.
I call you Joseph.
I'm going to call you Jalopy.
That's fine. Gina calls me Sephi.
Because, I mean, it takes the first part of your first name and the last part of your last name and adds E at the end of it.
I think you're overthinking this, Alex.
Jalopy. And Jalopy is also, like isn't that like a car? Yeah.
Call me Jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
I'm going to get jalapeno business.
Oh my god. Stop.
Yeah, so.
Stop.
So panels that I'm interested in are probably the Funhouse panel on Friday, which I found it interesting. The panels...
That's going to be a popular one, Joseph.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm just talking about what I'm interested in because the rest of them didn't look very interesting to me in particular. And here's the problem. We talked about the lack of community panels, and as I looked at the schedule, I started to realize how that affects me as an individual. Those were the panels I went to. Those are the ones I was interested in. So now that I'm looking at the panel, I'm like, well, 2 years ago when I was actually able to attend for the entire weekend, I went to Glibshark, and then I was a few minutes too late to Breeze panel, and it wasn't full, but the Guardian wouldn't let me in. And then I didn't do anything Saturday for panels, and then I went to the one I hosted. So I realized I don't go for the panels. And the year before, I did go to Nico's music panel. That was good.
Well,
but I had to leave. I had a pressing concern concerning what I'd eaten.
Yeah. Well, there is a panel here that just jumped out at me. It's not a community panel. It's listed as a Let's Play panel. And I imagine that's because it's related to Heroes and Halfwits. It's called Crafting Worlds and Killing Your Friends. And we've had discussions before on how we craft worlds for roleplay games, so I would think that might have a little bit of interest.
You know, the interesting thing is I shy away from DM advice because we all have our own approach, and that's, unless we're struggling, that's what makes us so individual and so special. Unless it's like, I have no idea what to do, I try to stay away from that.
So you don't want to kill your friends?
Well, I try not to. I view it as collaborative storytelling the way that I approach it. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to get to the end of the story together, whereas other people do have their own approach, which is a lot of people like the thrill of the fact that everyone might die. And the people I play with tend to prefer collaborative storytelling. There was a video from the guy who DMs Critical Role, and he had this advice video on how to DM, and I was like, that sounds like great advice, but I'm not going to watch it because I don't want to change what's special about the way I DM.
I feel kind of the opposite way about it, where I like to hear about other people's experiences, especially people who've never done it before, because they come up with things that you wouldn't have thought of. And I try and get the whole story on it. I like when my players will tell me stories about what they've done in their campaigns so that I can look at that and say, well, does that sound like it went well? Did the players enjoy it? What was the setup for that? And try and decide if it's the kind of hook or the kind of event that I could incorporate into a story for an interesting story arc or just an interesting event. I very often will hear things that I might not have done in my own story, but if their stories intrigue me enough, then I do feel like I want to try to find a way to work something like that in.
Yes, that's along the lines of observing DMs that you admire or players that you admire. But I do agree with you. It's very enjoyable to play with new players that are willing to learn, as opposed to the new players that are just annoying to play with.
Yeah,
because they are so much. It's just a refreshing experience. You play with people who play all the time, and you can feel the rut that they're stuck in. And they're just not willing to try new things. They're like, no, this works. I'm going to do this. I'm going to play a fighter. He's going to have a great sword. I'm going to do this. I'll take this feat. And then they don't really role play. So I enjoy the role play from people who everything's just fresh and new to them. So back to panels. Speaking of D&D, the panel I'm definitely going to hit up this year, especially because there's nothing else that looks interesting, but also the time slot is perfect, is D&D and Drunks. Speaking of observing people you admire, I want to see how Obo Crazy DMs these days, because I sort of enjoyed the thing that she did a few years back, the thing that we talked about that they filmed at Fado's, which was two castles in a box canyon. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was RVB&D.
That's what I'm interested in on Friday. If I can get into Funhouse, I was going to say before Alex was like, it's popular, they don't start panels on Friday until noon. But I found it interesting that they're only doing Austin and Hilton, the Austin Convention Center and the Hilton for venues. I thought that was interesting because it seemed like recent years they were branching out into other buildings.
I think it got very confusing.
I guess this time they've sort of, what's the word, truncated it. And I guess part of that is the animation festival being such a big deal. Maybe they wanted to devote their energy towards that, and that's kind of a cool idea. So that's.
Well, they are kind of. They expand. They still have the Marriott. The Marriott's still going to have stuff.
I don't see any panels in the Marriott.
Not the panels, but they still have stuff at the Marriott.
Sure,
and then they have the Paramount is going to have stuff.
I guess you're correct, Alex. They're making it less confusing by specifically putting panels in two buildings and then everything else in the other two buildings. I guess that's smart to do. The Hilton is two different rooms. They're doing the two ballrooms. They're doing panels. But what did Alex say was the Marriott? There
is a panel. Evening stuff is a lot of it's going to be in the Marriott because you got the werewolves panel. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Game Attack versus Screw Attack versus Kinda Funny versus Mega 64, which that's all just on the Friday. There's more stuff. So that's going to have all the evening stuff, it looks like.
Okay, so Saturday panels. I was interested in the 4:30 in the afternoon cosplay contest. Unfortunately, 9:30 in the morning is when they do the prejudging to decide who gets in the contest. And no.
Too early for Joseph.
No, I sleep in on RTX days, except when we have an early morning panel. It's because I do the side quest stuff at night times things. So, I mean, if I'm up, then I'll do the prejudging. But if not, then what I'm going to probably be interested in is maybe meet Rooster Teeth Animation to support our boy, our Guerrero, our Gary.
Gary.
Argario. No, I can't do that. I can't do anything in the early afternoon, because I'm going to be working the side quest booth.
Side quest.
Maybe day 5. It's just
day 5.
It's just Saturdays just seems chock full of just heavily attended panels, doesn't it? It looks like everything is going to be just packed. So if you're looking for a panel you want to get into, then maybe the John Reisinger panel at 2:30 on Saturday looks like it might be a lesser attended panel, or Glitch Please. Those are coinciding with animation, Kinda Funny, and Heroes and Halfwits. Sunday, you've got RTAA and 11 Little Roosters in the morning, so those are going to be packed. So it looks like the lesser attended panels that you might consider would be voice acting for animation, part 2 of What a Bunch of Shiz Knows, future of comic book movies, which we talk about literally all the time. So I'd be interested to hear what they have to say about that. There's also RT documentaries towards the end of the day. Looks like it might be a good one. So those are some things to look out for. Also, WTF is Nerdcore Music around 11 in the morning on Sunday.
What
It is coinciding with Ruby and immediately following RTAA, so you might have a real easy time getting in. Then there's also Crafting Worlds and Killing Your Friends, which is right before $1 Million But, so that might be an easy one to get into. So that is what I'll be looking out for personally.
What the French toast is nerdcore?
Yeah, I'm very curious, and if it seems like there's nothing else I can get into, I might try that. So Tristan, what about you? If you were an attendee, what would you be trying to get into?
All of it?
For the record, Nerdcore Music is blue, which means it's a Let's Play panel.
Right.
Along with the Crafting Worlds and Killing Your Friends. So I think it's specifically like the Achievement Hunter folks.
I still might go, like me, I would probably go visit the Crafting Worlds and Killing Your Friends just to see what they have to say.
That makes me think I should probably go and hit that one up so I can tell you and our listeners what that's all about, what advice they gave.
Joel Heyman and Adam Ellis used to have a video series that they did together that I thought was extraordinarily funny. So they have a panel together, a booth.
That might be
signing.
autographs.
Never mind. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm like, oh, look at that. Oh, wait, no, this is the signing schedule. Never mind.
Yeah, I missed that. That was when he first started working there, was because he was helping Joel with videos. They started doing videos together, and boom, everyone's like, he became really popular overnight.
Well, all of Joel's videos, because, obviously,
Which is
Adam
Gilby.
Gilby didn't come till later, but
Yes.
Joel's videos always put a smile on my face because he had no attention span. So they would ask him to do a thing, and he would never do the thing that they asked him to do. And they finally addressed it in the Connectimals video that he did with Jack. Where he was supposed to do a video about Connectimals, and instead he's just cut together all these other video games and made it into this horrifying adventure as the Connectimals attack. I was laughing my butt off, and I've watched it so many times, and I still find it funny.
Pretty sure I saw the Cinnamon Nose shirt before I got around to seeing the video, which was
you're like, what is
I
this?
didn't even see it late. I saw the day it came out. It's just Gilby did a good job playing off of him too.
Yeah.
Sometimes he was the straight man, and sometimes they would just both be drunk and off the wall.
Yeah, one of my favorite videos that they did was it was Mount Your Friends, where they had to make human pyramids with these characters on the Xbox by climbing up the tower and trying not to fall off, and there were other ones where they would just drink every time. They would say, okay, we have to do this and we can't swear. Every time somebody curses, we have to drink, and so the more drunk they get, the more they curse, so the more drunk they get.
I remember
those videos, but they don't make them anymore.
They were trying to be stealthy, but they kept screwing up.
Oh my god, yeah, one of the Call of Duty games. Yeah.
I wonder if it was similar to the game they did the immersion of, where they were trying to be covert. That was a great immersion. Because they were getting shot.
I haven't watched Immersion in so long. I miss the
Tristan,
days when it was just Gus.
I bet that if you were able to do a signing, you would go to the Ramsey signing.
Ramsey signing. Because I didn't embarrass myself the last time I tried to interact with the two of them.
And Alex wouldn't be in line with you because that's during Kara and Aaron's signing.
Oh. I think that he'll be over at the Jessica Negri signing.
I would probably choose Kara and Aaron over Jessica Negri.
I know Alex very well.
I certainly would like to see Aaron again, but probably the only two people that I would really I would die to see is Kara and Lindsay, just so then I could get them to sign the silhouette poster of Ruby, the original silhouette poster, so then I'd have all four of their signatures.
I see.
Speaking of, I sent a text to my younger sister, who's been an RBB fan since I was. I told her, I'm getting a signing, I'm getting autographs again, and this time it's the Machinimators, because it was one of the 3 that were available, and I think Josh and Kyle are cool. And I said, you should send me a poster, because the past 2 years I've bought her a poster and gone to a signing for her. So she said fun, and I'm not sure what that means.
Fun? Are you being sarcastic, or
are you going to send me a poster?
What are we doing?
Because 2 years ago, I bought a poster for her so that I could get signatures, and then last year she didn't send it to me, so I bought another one for her. And if she doesn't send me a poster this year, I'm just not going to buy her another poster.
I made a poster once, and then I had everybody, when I was an attendee one year, I had everybody I ran into sign it, and then
That's
I
cool.
gave this poster to another community member who had messaged me saying they couldn't go, and then they lost their shit. It was great.
Was she cute?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. So the signing I'm going to is Josh Ornelas and Kyle Taylor. So those who have been longtime fans of us remember that I did an interview with Josh Ornelas 2 years ago, which is actually one of our most popular videos. And the funny thing with Josh is
That
he
I
was
beat him
on their...
in Super Smash Brothers, and he was cool about it.
That's pretty awesome. No, I didn't know that. But the cool thing with Josh is he was on their first of 2 seasons of their gaming competition reality show thing. What was that called?
The Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet, that's right. He was like second place in the Gauntlet, and I watched that with Gina right after it came out, and we were rooting for him the whole time. So then I added him on the site, and I was like, yo, you're awesome, and you play the guitar, let's be friends.
I see him most frequently now in the ads for Rooster Teeth merch on
Because
Twitter.
he's so cute, you know?
He's very photogenic. He is.
He is, yeah, just like you.
Oh, thank you.
You are. You take pictures of yourself in your shirts and things.
We need ads.
In shirts.
Give us money.
And speaking of insurance, I am still losing weight. Before we get on to the next RTX topic, I wanted to say that I'm still on my weight loss journey.
Nice. I'm still gaining weight, so things are going
I
well.
started off the year at a certain weight. Obviously, I'm unless it's a personal conversation, I don't like the idea of saying exactly how much you weigh. What's more important is what you've lost. But since January, I've lost roughly 12 pounds.
Nice.
When my journey started, I weighed about 44 pounds heavier than I currently am.
That's really good, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think at my best, I dropped like 20 pounds in a go, and then I put like 30 back on. So I am
determined, man. Like I'm currently on a super diet this week before RTX. Just wanted to bring that up. You know, I'm proud of myself, and I'm doing a push this week, a pretty low-cal push this week, just so I can get that last bit going. So anyway, let's talk briefly about our schedules and then about the community meetup before we call it a day.
Good. I can talk extraordinarily briefly about that. I'm going to be a tech guardian, so my schedule is going to be set up prior to the event, working with my team, getting together with the house, and having dinner parties and whatnot leading up to the event. Then during the event, I'm going to probably do what I usually do, which is park myself in one of the panel rooms and run the stream in there all day, which is my way of getting to see panels. And I'm going to do that all 3 days. And then in between, running around and doing other tech stuff whenever my stream doesn't need to be running. That's how I've done it the past years. It's worked for me, and we'll see if that works again. And then I'll be available by phone, letting people know where I am if they want to come see me. I don't know which panel room I'll be in, or if I'll be in one. We'll see what happens.
I don't really know what I'm going to be doing, because I am part of Response, which basically took over Lines.
It's the new Lines.
Lines and Response melded, and they just left the Response name.
Well, now you can say you're going in Lines.
No, he can't say he's going in Lines.
So, I mean, I'm not sure, because we haven't really discussed where we're going to be, because I believe... So we're split into different squads, and I'm assuming the squads are probably going to rotate around to different spots. So we're not all in one spot, the squads aren't stuck in one single spot all day. I'm assuming we'll be covering all 3 locations, plus, not to mention that they took away it doesn't look like they have the Funhouse Lounge, which is where I was in the past, usually for the most part, as a line guardian. So I'm not sure what we're going to be doing in the exhibit hall, but you'll be able to find me with my pirate top hat and my sign that I'll carry around trying to come up with funny quotes.
You guys do have your guardian schedules, but what about after hours? I know that in part you guys are doing some side quest stuff.
Doing the gala.
The gala. The charity auction?
The charity gala.
Gotcha. You only got a ticket for that, right? Because you're going to be downstairs for the Sunday night hangout at Buffalo Billiards?
That's certainly a possibility. Pretty much other than Thursday and a special thing we'll be talking about here very quickly on Friday, I'm kind of left my schedule open for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Ladies.
So, yeah, ladies. It gives me the option that if I can, or if I don't have anything, then I can go down to Buffalo Billiards and just be on the bottom level on Sunday, or I could do something else. And then Monday, they're having a little farewell thing at another place that's open to anyone who got a side quest ticket, whether it was a weekend pass or just one of the events.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. Tristan, what about you? Are you doing anything after hours?
I'm certain that we'll be having dinners with the house, and I'll be getting together with other guardians as possible. There are a couple people from the community that I'm trying to set up get-togethers with after hours. So I'll have to see how that works out with everybody else because the schedules are a little tight. I know one of them is pretty much only available Friday and Saturday, so I'm going to have to prioritize them those days to make sure that I get to see them. So I might end up missing something with you guys.
Tristan is so popular. He has all these other friends that he gets to see. And I don't have any friends that want to see me.
I have to pay to have friends.
Pay to play to have fun. Pay to...
You screwed that up, Tristan.
I did. I'm just going to go home now.
I am Spectre this year. I'm part of Team Whiskey, which is the catch-all. You've got the team for sign-up. You've got the team for photography. Those are the smaller teams, and I'm in the catch-all team. So it's more like doing gopher jobs, setting up things, tearing down security, stuff like that. Checking people's badges when they come into events. Basically all the stuff I did until they told me, okay, go take pictures.
Okay.
And I'm also going to be working the booth one of the days. I am scheduled for 11 to 3 on Saturday. So I'll be at all the side quest things. And just so you know, Saturday Bar Olympics, you get points with certain tasks concerning specters. So keep that in mind. I guess that means, except for this next thing I'm going to ask Malachi, we get on to the community meetup. But real quick, Malachi, they do live stream panels, so you should definitely keep that in mind and come and sit at your computer in your underwear and whatnot, or less, and watch some of the panels. Are there any that caught your eye?
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's my job.
He's totally looked at the schedule, all right.
Scheduled? There's a schedule?
He's going to watch every single panel.
You should definitely watch some of the panels because they are going to be easier to watch live stream than they are to get in line anyway. So Tristan just sent you a link to the schedule. But yeah, community meetup. So we've been talking to various people, and we mentioned in our previous episode the fact that there's a lot of us that wanted to have panels for the community because that was our opportunity to see our friends. And because that is not a thing this year, where without that opportunity, we wanted to not so much be the host of, but just organize a community meetup for our corner of the community. The content creators that typically had panels or had a presence at RTX and all support each other. So we're talking the podcast, the supporters, the artists, and all that. The community meetup is going to be Friday at 7:30 p.m. PF Chang's. So that is not that far from the convention center. It's 2nd and San Jacinto, PF Chang's, Friday 7:30, and also I'm pretty sure it's a Pokestop. The horse statue is a Pokestop, and I looked at a picture of it, and I'm pretty sure it's inside PF Chang's.
Look for the horse, get your Pokeballs, and then come hang out with us.
Yeah, get your balls. I mean, Pokeballs. Gosh. Get your great balls, your ultra balls, your Pokeballs, and come to PF Chang's Friday 7:30. I left enough of a window in the timing of that so that anyone hanging out at D&D and Drunks has more than enough time to head over to PF Chang's after maybe showering, changing clothes, that kind of thing. Show up hungry, have a portable charger if you're doing Pokemons, and come hang out with all the community content creators that come to RTX and want to hang out. Let's just fill up PF Chang's. I'm going to show up at least 45 minutes early and get us an area. And let's just see how many people we can get there.
Because their food is quite good. I like it.
Everyone in our corner of the community.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, let's
Are
find our
you in
corner.
our corner?
Are you in our corner?
No, there might be a Dookie in there. You don't want to be there.
No, Dookie Keep not coming this
I
year,
know.
Yeah.
for all we know. All right, I guess that's it. 7:30 Friday, PF Chang's Pokestop. Let's go eat food. Hang out with us. Find us at SideQuest. Find us at the convention. Find the room where Tristan is doing the live stream thing. If there's any change to any of the information we've given, it will be on our Twitter account. And maybe we can also find excuses to post little videos to the Twitter account.
Yay.
All right.
Less work for me to do. Good night,
Yeah.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Hashtag RTX 2017. Goodbye.
Hashtag goodbye. RTX 2017.
Bye.
It's just like with the intros. We think that they're not going to say something, so
And
then
then
we
they
say
do.
something, and it's right when they do.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I went with it.
Yep, you went with it. It was a nice long goodbye.
Go with the
Good night,
theme song.
Malachi.
Night, guys.
Good night,
It's just
guys.
a Player 4 podcast.
Yeah.
We talk about movies, shows, and games, and lots of other